My name is Dante Galic. I'm a creation painter, born and raised in Denmark. Since I can remember, I always painted. It's not something I really ever thought I would be doing, but it happened. It's like a gravitation when you really love something, when something you do almost feels like the air you're breathing. That's what I'm doing. My art was never something that you just decorate or be for the fun of it. It's not something you're gonna come and look at before or after dinner. I'd rather you hate my art actually than to be completely indifferent to what I do. I always strive to look at the old masters when I'm working, specifically Goya, who was a painter during the Napoleonic Wars in Spain, where he definitely was the first artist to document, like war photographers do today or journalists do. He did that with pamphlets, he did that with drawings, he did that with art. He was like a mockingbird, but a clever one. And that's what I find very interesting with art, to be honest. It's a language that unifies all of us regarding race, religion, whatever. It's a language we all can understand and speak. So for me, my job is not only to put some paint on a canvas and then call it a day. For me, it's to make you feel something, whether it be joy, anger, sorrow. That doesn't really matter. As long as you get something out of it, it's worth my while. I'm heavily inspired, really a lot by old masters specifically, because I think that their craftsmanship was on a completely different level. I think their creativity was also unmatched. It's also very interesting to think about that they had no guidelines, they had nothing to look at, nothing, they had to invent everything. So what the legacy they left for us as a painter, for me, it's a lot most important to respect the history and to respect the legacy of these painters. So I'm striving to work with old techniques. It's like building a house almost when you look at how they worked. It's layers and layers and layers, and you can't really just jump in head first and then call it a good piece of art or whatever. I mean, you can, everything is subjective. You can't, it's kind of tasteless to discuss taste, but it's interesting to think how a painting evolves. It starts as an idea, then it transcends into a drawing, and then that drawing becomes a more beautiful, detailed drawing. Then that drawing gets transferred onto the canvas, which then starts becoming a painting. And it's almost like you're raising a kid, to be honest. It's like you have this complete relationship with this piece of work. You put your soul, your heart, effort into it, and then one day it leaves home. And when it leaves home, it goes to somebody's collection, it goes to a gallery or whatever not, and it's almost like when you wave it out of your workshop, you have to say like, good luck now. Now it's up to you. Because when I'm done with the painting has its own life. And it's always interesting to see how well or not well received it's gonna be in the grand scheme of things. I've been working as a professional for almost 11 years now, but like working in painting I've been doing since I can remember, to be honest. As I said in the beginning, I never really wanted it. I wanted actually to be a firefighter or something cool like that, but that just didn't happen. It's almost a calling. Especially in the modern time when we have technology to desensitize ourselves towards violence that's going on in the world, towards everything. I think art is still the last bastion where true emotion can come through and actually speak to a larger audience than any camera or whatever not can. Like they say, one painting or one image speaks louder than 1,000 words, and I'm a firm believer of that. My life is basically very simple. To be honest, as an artist, I come to my workshop every day. Some people might say it's a routine. Well, no, because every day is different. You come through the door and you have no idea what's going to happen on the canvas. It might go real great, it might go not so great, it might just be another boring day. But it's something unexplainable. There's some magic that happens every time you lift up a brush and you mix that paint and you start creating. The practical side of my job is, of course, also very fun. It can be tiring. Luckily for that, I have a great team behind me where they take care of all those things that might be exhausting at some times or not so fun, because the fun part for me is being here, like in front of my art. And the materials I'm using actually is green stuff, like ecological stuff, if we should put it in that perspective. All the canvases are from Europe, like they're not sourced from places where pollution is happening. They're all locally sourced. The wood which the canvases are built on are also certified in Europe, so it's something we can track and see which trees are cut down for this, how it's used, so it can be sustainable. The pigments, of course, also the paint, everything is not locally sourced, but it's like from sustainable sources where I can use my materials without feeling guilty about it, which is pretty cool that we have that opportunity to do that today, because some years back we didn't know. And when we jumped on that train with the exhibition after the flood in 2021, where we did a full-out show regarding endangered species and climate change, it was of course very interesting to not only paint about it, but also kind of start living like it. Like, you learned a lot, and it was disturbing to find out a lot of that stuff that goes on regarding pollution and climate crisis and whatever not. But it was also it was a beautiful learning curve also. And with my art, there's also an aspect of it that is political. You can't ever get out of that, and I won't hide that I'm not working on that. We also published books. We published a book called The Alphabet some years back, which is, if you ask me, more relevant now than it was when we did publish it, regarding what's going on in the world today. It's basically the point I'm trying to make is that we, as artists today, we need to speak up, and we need to use our voice to raise concern and raise awareness about whatever, because if we stop doing that, art itself will lose the value that our great-grandfathers in the industry, or whatever you want to call it, fought for. If 400 or 500 years or even 200 years ago you wanted to make a statement about something, you were basically going to get either punished or killed for it. Now you're not. We started being afraid of being censored, which is, in my opinion, pretty funny, that this invisible finger, as George Orwell, he put it in 1984, remember, the future is going to look like a boot stomping on your neck, and you're not gonna even see it. You're not even gonna see this invisible finger called TikTok, Instagram, whatever not, controlling us like that. It's a platform for free use, and if free speech starts becoming censored, then we have a real problem. And for me, my job not only includes painting and making people in awe over art, but it's also to speak up about stuff like this.